Back at Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee, there is a look at the oldest multi-use timing tower in all of drag racing, built in the mid-1960s for the use of officials, press, and hospitality. But you see, that's the way here at Bristol International, which is not only a dragway, but also a raceway, a multi-purpose facility for both drag racing and oval racing, built by Larry Carrier. There's a look at the fastest half-mile oval in all of stock car racing. You've seen this here on ESPN, a track so tight that the drivers have to look up through their windshields to see the next corner, and it provides some of the best short track action you'll ever find. Bristol International, a tribute to the vision of Larry Carrier and one of the greatest multi-use racing facilities anywhere. Let's pick up the quarterfinal action in Pro Stock and begin it with a look at the king of the mountain motors from King, North Carolina, Ricky Smith. A five-time IHRA Pro Stock champion. Ted and I were there in 1989 for Ricky's most recent triumph in the heyday of one of the greatest names in straight line racing. All Ricky Smith has to do is win this round against his old car being handled by Jim Yates, and Ricky Smith will be world champion. There they go. Ricky Smith is off the line first. He has a considerable lead on Jim Yates. Down at the halfway mark, Ricky continues to hold it up. Ricky Smith has just won the championship of the world. The king of the mountain motors has done it again. From King, North Carolina, Ricky Smith has an unprecedented 5th world title.
IHRA has meant a lot to me. You know, we won 7 world championships over here, 5 in Pro Stock and 2 in Sportsman. So I've had a lot of success over here, you know, with Ford and Pontiac. You know, I won with both cars, and we're just glad to be able to have success with like that, you know, with 2 different combinations. A couple different sponsors have been with us. So we've had a lot of good years, and I'm really proud of what we've accomplished over here.
But like any racer, Ricky Smith is subject to the tough economic times. His most recent sponsor, STP, paired Ricky with his lifelong racing hero from just down the road in North Carolina, King Richard Petty. But Ricky's STP support went away at the end of the 1992 season, and now he's struggling to make it on his own.
Well, you know, it's pretty tough this year, you know. Luckily, we've got Pontiac helping us out, and just friends like a Huff family over here helping us out. So, you know, this Southland fire extinguisher guy, he's just a good friend of ours. And people like that right now is what's pulling us through this deal.
Well, in addition to Southland Fire Extinguisher, Ricky has another very colorful sponsor this year that's helped him out a little bit to get through, Carolina Drilling, and they don't drill water wells. They drill and plant dynamite, Bob.
Just the kind of sponsor you want for a guy like Tricky Ricky Smith, who is as explosive as they come off the start line. He goes up against Stafford, Virginia's Jim Revis, 760-plus cubic inches of Pontiac power in each car. Ricky is away. He's got him by a car length.
Ricky pulled it big on the top end with a 497 reaction, 705, 198 mile per hour. And did you see that car get up and walk in high gear as he opened up a big lead in just the last couple hundred feet?
Now here comes the 1991 Pro Stock World Champion and the points leader, undefeated thus far in 1993 from Lenoir, West Virginia, Doug Kirk. A 93 Olds Cutlass and a big 786 cubic inch Pontiac V8.
Kirk, of course, a second-generation drag racer sponsored by his father's trucking firm, Kirk Trucking. Young, quick reflexes, could probably win this event one more time.
Doug Kirk got a big break back in 1987 when another IHRA Pro Stock champion, Roy Hill, put the young Doug in the car. Doug went on to win his own championship. Roy Hill is here this weekend, mounting a comeback. He'll watch as his former protege goes for the race win here. Kirk is staged. Nakeza is staged. They are away. Clean start, lifting the front end as Nakeza on the right lane. Doug Kirk takes advantage, side by side.
Kirk pulls it out with a 714, 197 mile per hour. Nakeza was deep stage, cut a tremendous light, but Kirk had more horsepower.
In the semifinals, Doug Kirk will meet Floyd Cheek, who beat Tim Neighbors in this round. Ricky Smith will go up against Terry Leggett, who beat Charlie Garrett. In a moment, we'll have our first look at the wild men of Pro Modified. Stay with us. Welcome back to Bristol International Dragway and the Snap-on Tools Spring Nationals. It's time now for our regular news feature brought to you by Drag Review. Here's Brett with the headline, New Machinery.
On this edition of Drag Review, it's nothing but the news, the new car news. It's amazing that at the 29th annual Snap-on Tools Spring Nationals, so many new cars would be debuted, especially this late in the season. As a matter of fact, there are brand new race cars in virtually every single pro category, including the shocker of them all, the brand new Corvette debuted by the one and only Scotty Cannon. Now, let's face it, Cannon has been the dominant force in the Onset Magazine Chevy Luminas and ZR1s for the last 18 months or so. In the last month, however, alone, he's been in the finals of 2 match races and lost. What would have been his 12th and 13th consecutive event wins went down the drain. So Cannon decided to fight fire with fire and debut a brand new Onset Chevy Corvette right here at the Spring Nationals. It made its maiden voyage in qualifying, and the car went from a bare chassis to a competitive race car in less than 4 days. In Pro Stock Eliminator, the reigning world champ and the driver is having the worst year of anybody at 93, Billy Hoff out of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, chose the Spring Nationals to debut the very first 1993 bodied Firebird in IHRA Pro Stocker with an 802 cubic inch power plant. Even in Pro Alcohol Funny Car, there's a brand new ride of a longtime IHRA supporter. Tom Akers, based out of Arkansas, has brought out yet another Wizard funny car, another Dodge Daytona painted in the traditional Wizard green with Colorado and Mike Rieger behind the wheel. But in Top Fuel Eliminator, the reigning IHRA world champion is trying to debut a brand new car right into the winner's circle here at Bristol. Indeed, Doug Herbert, the man who won this event last year, is trying to become the first man in the 29-year history of this event to repeat a Spring Nationals Top Fuel victory with a brand new race car. That's this edition of Drag Review.
All right, thank you, Brett. We have a big crowd on hand on a beautiful summer day here in Thunder Valley. Let's move to the quarterfinals of Pro Modified. There he is, the Animal Jim Fuhrer from Lakeland, Illinois. His opponent, Mark Carter from Okarsh, Oklahoma.
Well, Carter got here by going past Pat Moore in the first round. As you know, Moore drives that potent Camaro owned by NBA star Larry Nance. And Animal got here by beating Jim Halsey, a Maryland ZR1 Corvette powered by a 706 Chevy. So, 2 700 cubic inch cars on the line, but it's Ford versus Pontiac.
You heard Brett Kepner mention match racing, big bucks exhibition races. Animal Jim Fuhrer is the man to watch in match racing, and right now he lays a huge tree on Mark Carter.
Animal Jim with a 486 reaction picks up the win with a 694, 201 mile per hour. Actually, Carter was quicker with a 679.
But the difference, a 6:58 reaction time for Carter, almost 2/10 slower than Fuhrer. We move on now to Steve Johnson from Carpentersville, Illinois, against Donnie Little from Fillmore, Illinois.
Johnson running 706 cubic inches of Chevrolet, as is Donnie Little. Now, Little match raced for the past couple of years. He's just now stepping into prominence on the IHRA circuit.
An all Chevy battle. 2 more nitrous-boosted cars. We have yet to see one of the big blowers that's common to the alcohol-burning machines. Great-looking Corvette for Steve Johnson, and a great launch. Little very slow getting up to speed. An easy run for Johnson.
Johnson with a 687, 200 miles per hour. The reacts actually were pretty identical, 514 to a 515, but Little definitely had a problem right off the line.
Now here comes the man we've been talking about, the Cannonball, Scotty Cannon from Lyman, South Carolina. His opponent, young Jason Peterson from Sioux City, Iowa.
Peterson with a 706 cubic inch Pontiac. Scotty, of course, limited to only 526 cubic inches. That's the maximum you can have when you set a big huffer on top.
Now there you see the huffer, the blower. Very distinctive, the supercharged cars like Scotty Cannon, as opposed to the nitrous-boosted cars like Jason Peterson's with the hood scoop.
Peterson may well try and put a gate job on Cannon. He has to take a shot on him because, let's face it, Scotty runs, and he does.
Peterson, 423 to 494 reaction time, but he breaks at half track.
Oh, he had him covered. Scotty Cannon, 674, 193 miles per hour. Peterson put a gate job on him, then broke.
So Steve Johnson will face Animal Jim in the next round. Scotty Cannon will take on former class champion Tim McAmis, who beat Pete Williams in round number 2. When we come back, Top Fuel, and we pick up the story of Doug Foxworth. Stay with us.